Bonjour, everybody. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page where I do this daily live stream. It's really a spiritual conversation with people in the chat room around the divination cards that are drawn in the morning. Each morning, and I've been doing this for years, meeting with my spiritual team, my guides, my angels, my teachers, my power animals, all of them, to please show me what is most important energy flowing today for us to know about, and for our highest good, of course, right? And so that is the daily topic in this live stream. So welcome. It is Sunday, January 13th, and it is a cloudy day here in Toma, Wisconsin, and I'm broadcasting from Star Nation's Academy, where I do most of my shows from. And so here I've got a little something for you so that you know what you're watching. You know, Sundays here have always been kind of, usually is one of those quieter days of the week, right? With not much going on, and but not this Sunday. I tell you what, it was been busy from the time I got up. It's on the go. Mom is she's doing okay, but 99, when it starts getting cold and it's hard on the body. So we're dealing with some pain issues, and Paul had work stuff going on, and one of the springs on our garage door decides not to work, or maybe worked too hard and came off or something like that. And so it's been kind of a busy morning around here. Yeah. So welcome. Stephanie, here, wait, let me hide that. Stephanie, she says, you look like you got a good night's sleep. I did, and I actually went to bed by 10:30, which is early for me, like by 2 hours early. And so yeah, no, I feel really good. And I started my day, my work day, I should say, with the Unity Breath meditation. I was invited to meet with Polly Jola Bay's third year students this morning and share with them the Unity Breath guided meditation. Yeah. So, that's always a great way to start the day. You're getting into the frequency of love, right? And so good stuff. And I've had coffee, and that makes it even better. Even better. The only thing that's missing is maybe a chocolate donut, but I don't get to do those very often. Those are special treats. So today, our cards today are very interesting. We've had this combination before. I'm trying to remember if it was in the specific combination. It might have been. It feels that way. So, and for those who may just be joining us for the first time, or possibly watching the recorded, right? I'm going to show you the deck of cards that we've been using since the end of September. But first of all, what I'd like to do is to share and like the broadcast. So I've got my phone, and we'll be doing that. I just have to get to the right page here. There we are. And scroll down to our broadcast. There we are. And I'm going to share it to my newsfeed, just to let my friends know that I'm live streaming. There we go. I'm live streaming my daily show. Please join me. There we go. There, and we're posting that. And we'll do that. And thank you, Stephanie. I know that you're probably posting to the other pages and groups and such. So thanks for doing that. I'll take a drink of water here. I try to stay hydrated, right? I'm very aware of how much water I take in. And yesterday, I didn't. I got busy. I'd rather have a cup of coffee. Um, and I paid for it last night. Well, actually, very, very early this morning, about 20 minutes before my alarm went off. I got a cramp in my right calf. It's like, oh my God. Don't like those. I don't get them very often. When I get them, man, do those hurt. And so what I do is I use Young Living Oils, the release, to help release that muscle, right? It worked, but that 20 minutes, that 20 minutes just before the alarm went off. So today I am keeping track of how much water I'm drinking and not substituting. Okay, so for those who might just be joining us for the first time, either in the live or in the recorded show, is that this is the deck that we're currently using. Let's see, that's the box cover. I'm going to use the book cover. Box is getting kind of scratched up. So it's The Angels and Ancestors by Kyle Gray, and the artist is Lily Moses. This is the deck that we're currently using. And it's a brand new deck. It was just published in 2018 and released in September of 2018. And so we've been using it since the end of September. I really like this deck. I was looking for something that was a new deck that was, had more of a Native American slant to it. And there's card decks out there with that, but some of them aren't all that great. But this one literally jumped off at the screen at me, and so I took a look at it, and I thought, oh, why not? Kyle, the author, had written a piece describing it and basically, bringing forward ancient information and to use it in modern day. And that is so darn close to Star Nation's mission, and so we're on the same wavelength, so to speak. And it's true. I mean, it's become one of my favorite decks. Yeah. Let's see who's in the chat. Scroll down a bit. Rochelle's here. Hey, Rochelle. Grounded 2 times today. Well, good for you. Thanks for doing that, and also reminding us to ground today. And Rob is here. Finally can connect. Well, that's good. That's great. Good to always have you in the chat, Rob. And let's see. Stephanie's telling Rob, I was about to send you the link. I'm so glad you found a way into the live stream. Oh, I didn't, have any problem finding the live stream or just getting in. Hey, Violet's here. Hello, Violet. Good to have you in the chat with us. Yeah. Oh, and thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie, for sharing the link to the card deck at Amazon.com. When you live out in the country, and I'm not like far out in the country, I'm just maybe a couple miles outside of the city limits. But Toma is a very small town, and to go shopping for anything pretty, different or significant, I have to drive like an hour. And so Amazon.com certainly has come to my aid more than once. More than once. My mother teases me and says that's my new store. Yeah. Because they make it simple and make it easy, right? I really don't like going to Walmart if I don't have to. Not that you can find a deck of cards like this at Walmart. You can't do that. So today, oh, okay. Rob is saying, Facebook updated this morning. Now group pages won't load without 7 acts of Congress. Oh, okay. Well, rats, huh? Just when we think that we understand it and we get our mind wrapped around it and how we can best utilize it, they change something. And it happens that way all the time. So I'm glad you were able to find us, Rob. Yeah. There's not much we can do about it, unfortunately. And Stephanie is saying the last Facebook update is making things difficult for a number of people across multiple channels, probably. Yeah, I was on there for a little bit this morning, not very much. I did notice, Rob says I'm listening at the gym. Oh, well, good for you. Yeah, taking care of that body. Um, yeah, I was on Facebook just for a little bit this morning, and I noticed that people were posting like, retro profiles of themselves and talking about the changes and that kind of thing. I didn't know anything about it, and I thought, oh, they must be running some sort of, special something or other. I didn't do it. I didn't get into that. So, okay, so here's our first card. Our first card is the Traveler. The Traveler. And I'm going to show a little bit close. Notice the compass, right? And she's got a world map behind her. Wearing red, which is a very active color, very yang or male color. Okay? And it says, move in a new direction. Move in a new direction. And if you remember, yesterday's card was the Direction Guardian, who also had the compass as a part, like a shield almost, or maybe looking like, the placement of a medicine wheel. And for me, the compass does look like the medicine wheel because it even shows the crosswinds. Notice, you can barely see it. It's down at the bottom. She's only traveling with one bag. Traveler. So she's traveling light. She doesn't have the large suitcase with the roller wheels, and then the smaller carry-on, and then the tote bag, and then or backpack, and then for a lot of us, we also take a purse. So you're traveling with at least 4 different kinds of bags, right? She's only traveling with one. And she's probably got some really good walking shoes on too. She's probably not in heels. Yeah. Hey, Julie's here too. Hello, Julie Shumway Hill. Good to have you here, Julie. Excellent. And Rob says the personal bag that fits under the seat. Exactly. Yeah. Usually that's where my drum goes when I'm traveling, flying. I'm one of those people who take multiple size bags. Got my carry-on. Usually my messenger bag, and also my drum. And the drum, my 15-inch drum, fits either in the overhead, depending on the size of the plane, of course, or underneath the seat. I don't pack my drum and carry up. So I'm one of those people who has to take multiple bags. So the Traveler in this deck speaks to taking a journey, right? So, and maybe even taking that physical journey, going on vacation, or possibly making a move, right? A traveler. But it also can mean a spiritual travel, traveling within. And so, like yesterday, we were talking about direction, the Direction Guardian, and that it's not necessarily just a physical direction, choosing a physical path to go in. But it also, including with the Traveler today, I think it covers all of our bodies, our 4 bodies, the travel, the physical travel, the spiritual travel, right? The emotional travel, and even the mental travel. So you could say that in that multidimensional way, we can do that kind of traveling. It's just not the physical, although that's fun to go to new places, right? To see new things, to go on vacation. What's that like? What's that like? So it says move in the new direction. Welcome any opportunities to travel, either to the outer world or to your inner worlds, plural, inner worlds. Yeah. When we were talking about yesterday about, we were talking about our gifts, right? And choosing a direction that makes your heart and soul sing. That if you're in a quandary about which direction to take, is to select the one that makes your heart and soul sing. We talked about how sometimes it's a difficult choice mentally because, there's all those obstacles in the way, right? Belief systems and that sort of thing. Well, I think this one kind of holds true for this card too, right? Is that the traveler selected the destination and then choosing the route to that destination. Yeah. Kyle writes about how the traveler card represents the gypsy spirit within. The opportunity to move in a new direction is coming your way, and ancestral wisdom is encouraging you to welcome it with open arms. So here's something. When there's change, when we choose the change or when change comes to us with synchronicities, right? With maybe it's a surprise, a change. Some people find it very difficult to have change in their life. They like the routine. They like knowing when things are going to happen or how they're going to happen. Those people really don't like surprises. And they really don't do very well with change. And yet that's life, isn't it? There's something that is a constant, and that is how energy flows. It's in constant change. It's always changing. And so if you expect life not to change or to find it difficult to change, yeah, that means that you're not in the flow, right? Not in the flow. And Rob is saying that it's the 56th kwa of the I Ching. 56th kwa. And is that traveling or is that change, Rob? The 56th. So Kyle goes on to say that this card often comes up when you're having a chance to go through a process of awakening and understand even more about the amazing qualities that you have to share with the world. Often such journeys can be lonely, but this in itself can teach you that you're never really alone and that your angels and ancestors are there for you. Yeah, so our spiritual team is with us every step of the way, right? Every step of the way. And so we have the opportunity to take that inward travel to our worlds, whichever one that is. It's an opportunity for soul growth. And, with this card, it's an adventure. Doesn't it feel that way? It's an adventure. That's how I take it anyway. Whenever you do traveling, it's a sense of adventure. You're doing something that takes you to a different place, or possibly the same place in a different way. Changing your perspective. That was yesterday's. Change your perspective. Rob is saying the traveling, the symbol is fire over the mountain. Oh, very cool. Yeah. He's saying that the I Ching it means book of changes. See, book of changes. Because energy Energy is constantly flowing, constantly. Now it might flow in different, I was going to say speeds, but sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's fast. Sometimes if there's obstacles in the way, like clutter, it flows. It might slow down and kind of get. They say stuck energy, but really what it is that it's just slowing down so much that it almost looks like it's not moving. Okay. And so when you have that, um, it feels uncomfortable. It's when you walk into a room like that, it's even hard to breathe, to take that deep breath in. It's kind of congested in a way. Yeah. And so when you're moving in a new direction, move in a new direction, um, this is where you get to tap into where your soul is leading you. That's why we talk about making choices choosing the path that makes your whole soul sing. And so you have the chance to go through a process of awakening, he says, and understand even more about the amazing qualities that you share. Um, so yeah, isn't it true though? I mean, if we think about it, whenever you take a trip, whether it's a day trip or whether you're on vacation and you're actually going maybe out of country or definitely out of state, um, you learn something along the way, don't you? Yeah. Sometimes it's a validation. Other times it's brand new stuff. That's the stuff I like. Brand new. And you also realize how you can use your gifts and your talents, your skills, your education maybe in a new way or slightly different way. So it's always good. So Stephanie's mom must be in the house, huh? Hello, Stephanie's mom. I'm going to check to see. I'm going to check my phone. And I'm going to scroll here. No. Yeah, Sandra, is that you? Sandra, she's saying hi, very interesting. Yeah, it is. Let me show you the card again, okay? This is Traveler. I was saying if you look in the background, there's the compass, and she's taking only one bag. Traveling light. Traveling light. So if you're doing those inward journeys, um, you're not taking all of your baggage with you, right? All the stuff that can weigh you down, all the things that can weigh you down. You don't have to take them with you. Don't have to pack them. Yeah, and some of that has to do with the healing process and releasing it, so you don't have to take it. It's not with you wherever you show up in your destination, which is nice. Kyle goes on to say that the road you are on may be the road less traveled, but this journey is going to be highly beneficial for your emotional and spiritual growth. Remember to keep things simple and to lighten your load, because that will make your journey more enjoyable. So when you're not worried about, I've traveled with friends and concerned about their luggage being lost, and so they do whatever they can do to ensure that their luggage doesn't get lost. I had one friend, she was flying over from Switzerland, and we were meeting up at a feng shui conference. This was years ago, the International Feng Shui Conference, and it was in San Luis Obispo. She arrives, and they lost her luggage. There was I remember it being really rainy that year, and their luggage was out on the tarmac, and it was getting soaked, right? But they lost the luggage. We were there for, I don't know, maybe 5 days, 6 days, something like that. Um, yeah, it finally showed, her luggage finally showed up. I think it was like, we only had like 2 days to go, and her luggage finally showed up. Um, and that was, I tell you what, at first it was like, oh, it'll be here. And then she was in a tailspin about it because, the things that she thought she really needed for that trip, she couldn't get to them because it wasn't there. And to replace them would have been really expensive. And so she said she learned a lesson from all of that. She goes, just because you think you need it doesn't mean you do. Yes, it may make your life a little bit easier. Um, and your ego is taken care of because she had bought new outfits. She was going to look really grand. And so she ended up wearing jeans most of the time, and she went out and bought a couple of T-shirts, that sort of thing. And so, just because we think we need it doesn't mean that we do. And she survived, and um, she said she had learned a lot from that, from that. And the thing is that her luggage was really expensive too. Louis Vuitton, yeah, and they lost it. So yeah, just remembering that was a long time ago. Kyle also goes on to say, and there's a good chance that along the way you'll make new friends who will become companions for a lifetime. And so with that, yeah, that includes physical travel. But if you're doing those inward journeys, it's possible that you're going to be getting a new teacher in the spirit, or a new guide, or a new power animal for the next part of your journey. And so you get to spend time with them, new friends, new support. Yeah. All because you chose maybe the road less traveled, because you chose a path that lights you up rather than diminishes you. And sometimes the people around us can be really supportive, right? And that's great. And then you have a few of those people in your life who aren't quite as positively supportive. Sometimes they're projecting their fear onto you and what they're afraid of. Um, not being successful, or um, if it's about uh, choosing your gifts over, a full time, well paid position. They might be, your friends might be looking at you kind of sideways, thinking, "You really want to do that? Do you know what you're giving up?" Because I went through that, and yet, toward the end of that stint with my, oops, dropped my phone, with the state, I had dropped down to part time, and my coworkers were saying, "Are you crazy? You're losing your seniority, and what do you think you're doing? This isn't." Well, by the time I actually left there, people were saying, "Oh my God, you got the best part of both worlds," and to be able to do that. So, they, at first, I think it was scary to them more than it was scary to me. And they were really trying to, protect me, right? All right, I got to pick up my phone. I dropped it. There. There. And I have to plug it in because it's losing, low on battery. There we go. All right. All right, so then the second card that we got with the traveler card, I like this card. This is the High Priestess card, and she's got the black cat standing in front of her, Bast, protecting her. Right? And in the background, that flower is part of the lotus, a lotus plant. Showing. I don't know if you can see the bottom of it. I don't know if you can see the bottom of it, but that plant, you can see it in the ground. And so it grows very tall into the lotus. And what she's holding in her hand isn't quite the ankh, but it shows the life breath, the chi, and how when we do this, the correct breathing is that there's this loop that's created. Yeah. And then you have the Merkaba up at the top, the star tetrahedron, which represents a whole bunch of stuff, but mainly, most importantly, the balance of energies. Yeah. I like this card. And of course, High Priestess, it's very Egyptian looking. I like her headdress. All those feathers. I think I got that one. The High Priestess, in the days when we did the mystery schools of both eyes of Horus, the right and the left, is that the keeper is a good way to put it. The keeper of those schools was a priestess, and she is the one who kept the information in the mystery school. So the High Priestess says, harnessed mystic power. Align with the light and focus on all things positive. Align with the light and focus on all things positive. She's the physical embodiment of the divine feminine, the goddess in human form. She's had many names through time and space, but her essence has remained the same: fierce, powerful, and disciplined. And I remember when the first time we got this card and I read the information about it, it was that word discipline that kind of stood out for me. And the reason being is that sometimes in our spiritual studies, we're kind of all over the place. Especially, we'll say the old days. And I'm talking like maybe 2 years ago to maybe 10 years ago, in the old days. Maybe even more than that, 15 years ago. We spent a lot of time studying and understanding and spending time in our upper chakras, our heart on up, and spent very little time in the lower chakras, which left us left us ungrounded. And so we're kind of, the word flitting comes to mind, that we were learning. Yes, we were learning, but we weren't very stable in that. We do a little bit here, we do a little bit there, and one of the things that I know about shamanic work is that you do have to have self-discipline. And in fact, the way that I grew up with traveling, soul traveling, is that I'm hearing my Misha saying, you're not in there to play. You go in, you get done what you need to get done, and you come back. and that you're self-disciplined. You're disciplined to do that. And to fall asleep during journey work is no, you don't do that. And that you're grounded, right? And that, yeah. And so when I first started this journey and was spending a lot of time in, we'll call what was new agey stuff, it was, to me, it was that's where they got, where the reputation of new age people, the stereotype came in, is that they're very ungrounded and, you know, the hippy dippy kind of stuff, right? When they were really looking at and studying very ancient information, it's just that they weren't grounded. They weren't grounding it. And that's the difference between, yes, Stephanie, airy fairy energy, yes. Yeah, exactly. It created this stereotype, right? Um, and so today, in the energy field in which we live today, is that we are we talk a lot about our self-healing. And in order to do that, we are healing from our heart down. The emotional traumas, the mental traumas, we're talking about our solar plexus and our sacral and our root chakra, right? And doing the healing around that. And so the energy that we're taking in from spirit is, yes, coming down through our crown chakra, yes, but we're grounding it, and we're grounded, and so we are much more stable in that. And it does take discipline. It does. It takes the intention and the discipline to carry out the intention. So whenever I ask, who's done their grounding today? Part of that is to remind us all, not just, a few people, but to remind us all, is that grounding is very important. And it's part of that self-discipline. And that it also puts us in a position where we're able to take in much more information. It helps us to take in that healing energies that we need so that we have more access to our gifts and to our intuition, right? Yeah. And you know what? Grandmother Earth is here to help us, to help us. And if we're not connected to her, yeah, I hear the phrase a leaf in the wind, right? A leaf in the wind. Julie says, I got her in my weekly draw today too. She has something to say, this high priestess to us, yes. And Rob is saying the discipline to keep going despite hit after hit after hit. Exactly. And sometimes those hits are because we're not willing to be in the flow. We say we are mentally. We say we are. I want to be in the flow. I want to be there. But what it takes to be in the flow sometimes is what is the interference. And then we have to figure out what that was or what that is, to take care of that, to get, to deal with that interference, right? Yeah. And the best way to do that is when we are grounded. Exactly, Sandra. What is old is new again. And the thing is that we're talking about ancient information that our ancestors had, right? And so we carry it with us in our bones and in our blood. We carry it with us. It's a matter of remembering it, and clearing the path for that memory to be there for us and to be able to hold the energy of that memory. For instance, this morning when I was with Polly Jo and her third year students, um, we were talking about the unity breath, but also talking about the Merkaba. And the unity breath brings up our frequency to the frequency of love. And the more often that we do that or similar meditations, is that we are remembering how to hold that frequency and to hold it for longer periods of time. Now, the thing is that we already came into this physical world knowing that frequency and knowing how to be that frequency as infants, right? Or if you're a walk-in, as an adult or near adult. And so really it's more about removing the debris, and that's called those lower vibrational energies that are affecting you. That is the emotional and mental traumas that you're healing, and clearing those away so that the memories from our ancestors and how to be the frequency of love is there for us. So you're right, Sandra. It is. It's old and it's ancient, but we know it in our hearts, and so it's a matter of remembering and being able to hold that frequency. Yeah. All right. And Sandra's saying, I think fear of embarrassing the change is the biggest challenge. Yeah, for some people, yes, that's true. And it definitely is based in fear of one thing or another, right? And so for some it's embarrassing for the change. Others they fear change because it upsets the status quo. They know what to expect in the status quo. And so some of that has to do with losing control, and going into what they call the unknown. Okay. Thing is that at a soul level, our soul already knows. It's it's our mental mind that's the one that's catching up, or trying to steer the ship and maybe steer it in the wrong direction, or a slightly wrong direction. You know. Eventually we end up exactly where we're supposed to be, no matter what path we chose or choose. We're exactly where we're supposed to be. In choosing the path, we have free will and we have a choice. We can choose to take the long, windy road, the rustic roads, and have a whole lot of experiences and learn loads of stuff. Or we can choose the expressway, and it's a fast ride, but you don't see much of the scenery, right? Neither path is good or bad. Neither path is right or wrong. It's just a different experience is all. You know, and some people are afraid or fear choosing unwisely and experiencing failure, you know, or what they call failure. Yeah. So, you know, the underlying is fear. Okay. And Violet said, does Polly Jo teach that meditation online? Which meditation, Violet? The Unity Breath meditation? Because she doesn't teach that. I do. I actually offer that Unity Breath meditation. It's a guided meditation every month, the last Tuesday evening every month. We do the Unity Breath meditation. Yeah. No, her students. She wanted to offer that experience to her students your third-year students. Yeah. And so the High Priestess, let's see what Kyle has to say about her. He says that in many traditions, particularly pre-Christian, the High Priestess was in charge of spiritual and religious orders and was the voice of authority and guidance from the gods. The High Priestess in this deck is the consort and partner of the High Priest. She is joined by a black cat representing the Egyptian goddess Bast, who protects her from lower energies, and she stands strong in her glory and power. I like this next sentence. You are a mystic with the capacity to connect with energies that go beyond the human senses. Within you is a force of magic that is directed by your will. There's an opportunity for you to rise up at this time, but it requires dedication and discipline. You're being guided to look at what you are working on or the situation before you and determine where your priorities lie. And for me, that is about where are you going to place your energy? It's energy allocation, right? What do you intend? And in order to bring forth your intention into the physical world, it takes discipline to get it here. Yes, our guides, our spiritual team, oh God, they can help us. We should be asking them for help, right? But they can't do it for us. They can bring us the information. They can bring us resources, but they can't do the actual work for us. They're not in a physical body. We are. And so in order to experience your own power for one, but also in the traveler is to select that new direction. We're doing the selecting because we have choices. Our spiritual team can bring us information about either one of those choices, and it's up to us to discern and to select and then to do. That's what you call life. He goes on to say that you're being guided to look at what you're working on or on a situation before you and determining where your priorities lie. If you're unable to figure that out, you must use your intuition and discernment to focus on what will bring you closer to your goal and happiness of everyone involved. When this card arrives, it's also important for you to check in with your intuition, as it will give you guidance that will be important for your growth. So, in that discernment, what we're doing, and it would be nice if we could do it consciously, is that we are connecting to that higher aspect of us called our soul for information and discerning, selecting, choosing if that's meant for our highest good and how it's going to bring about the life lesson, right? How is it going to bring our intention or our goal closer to us? I used to ask my team all the time, what's my next best step? If this is my intention and we're headed in that direction, what's my next best step? And sometimes it's stuff that I'm like, oh no, really? Really? I have to what? I have to apologize? Or, that I have to do volunteer work or, those kinds of things. I remember one time it was someone in our extended family had crossed over. We walked on, and was doing dishes, and I heard my spiritual team, you have to gather together venison. Venison. We had venison in the freezer, right? And take it to them. You don't need to cook it, but you need to take it to them because they're going to need it. All right, that's fine, but taking it to them, that was an hour drive. An hour drive. I did it, and I took it to them, but that meant me having to rearrange my whole afternoon in order to get there and get back because that's a 2 hour span of time. Right? So those kinds of things, yeah. And Violet is saying yes, about the unity breath. No, Polly Jo does not teach that. That's why she invited me to come and spend time with her in her class this morning so that I could do the guided meditation for them. Although they could have done it by a recording on YouTube because, I do this, I lead the meditation once a month. So it's out there on YouTube. But they really wanted to have the in-person. So that's why I did that for them this morning. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Stephanie. So she's giving Violet, well, all of us, the November Unity Breath Meditation recording. Good, excellent. Thank you, Stephanie. It's so helpful. So when you bring these two cards together, is that when we're doing our inner travel, or any travel at all, is that we have that aspect of us that's called the High Priestess. We can even call on her as that archetype to help us to be strong, to be powerful, to recognize our own gifts and our own wisdom in being able to select where we're traveling to and what we're going to be doing in that travel. Yeah. Harnessing our own mystical power to assist us in that travel. And knowing that in that travel, that inner journey, that will need discipline, self-discipline, to carry it out and to reach our goal, to reach our intention, our intended destination. That we have all kinds of help for that. And the High Priestess is backing us up. She's got our back. I think that's very nice. Because being here, a two-legged, a human, here on Grandmother Earth, which is a school of polarity, and reaching for, stretching to balance out that polarity and to be in a unified field. Some call it the Christ consciousness. Some call it the fifth dimension. That's our destination, right? And so to have the courage to do that inner travel, to work toward that destination, we have all kinds of help. Our spiritual team, and we have the High Priestess energy helping us, assisting us, that, maybe on those days when we really don't want to be self-disciplined, and yet we have a choice, maybe we're at that crossroad, creating I was going to call it a habit. There's probably a better word for it, but doing your grounding every day, Yes, Julie. Yes, lots of feminine energy today. Yes, that's true. It's very true. But you also have to take in You have to take in that at the top of the High Priestess card is the star tetrahedron, the Merkaba. We all have feminine energy and we all have masculine energy. And what we're striving for is the balance between those energies. It takes us out of duality. And with these women who are being depicted on the cards, it's telling us that we have this feminine energy moving us along the path, assisting us. It's sacred. It's the sacred divine feminine, not the earthly divine, not the earthly feminine. Because on the earthly plane, it's definitely polarized. Definitely. That's what we learned so much from. But you're right, Julie. Feminine energy, divine feminine energy. And that's sacred gem. And with that's a good point, Julie. With that, so it's very nurturing. It's those energies of the divine feminine that we all carry, that we want to come to the surface, and to be good to ourselves about it, right? Because in this journey, we need that nurturing. We need that unconditional love. We need that softness. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, but how I was just what went through my mind just a second ago is that the women in my family, we tend to be very strong personalities, and we don't get along very well because of that. I tell you what, if yeah, you can easily be run over very quickly in my family if you don't stand up for yourself with that feminine energy. But this one is about the sacred feminine. The sacred feminine. Yeah. Yeah. Rochelle is saying, enjoy your wisdom. Thank you, Rochelle. Also, the cards are awesome. Yeah, they are. The energy on them today is very. You can feel. Can't you just feel the strength coming off this card? Whereas this card, it's a different kind of strength. It's resilience. As a traveler, it's resilience. That when you're traveling, sometimes things happen along the way and you just have to kind of make do. What's that old saying? When you're given lemons, make lemonade. It's kind of like that kind of resilience. Losing your luggage and having to deal with living life at a convention where you have to literally, it's a good thing that the hotel provides toothbrush and toothpaste and that kind of stuff, but it's resilience, and both is a sense of strength, Right? Yeah. So that's the energy that's most important for us to know about today. So if you're taking that journey inward, that we have all kinds of assistance, and if you need that courage, that fierce strength to carry that out, is to call in the High Priestess archetype. We all carry something like that in our spiritual team, and for that assistance. Yeah. Check the time here. We're at the top of the hour. If anything resonated with you today, whether it was in the chat or anything that was discussed, share it today. If it resonated with you, I encourage you to embrace it and watch, notice how the energy for you today is unfolding and where this information for you fits and how helpful is it, right? Sometimes we're the direct participant and it's actually happening to us and we're actually doing the work, or we're a witness to it. And in either case, we're learning something from it, right? And if it didn't resonate with you, don't worry about it. That's okay. It just wasn't meant for you today. That's all. Um, maybe you're the messenger, right? And you can share the recorded video with a friend who possibly would enjoy the conversation or looking for the information, and then you're done. Yeah. So for Star Nations, this week, we've got some shows lined up for you. We have on Tuesday at noon Eastern time is Polly Jola Bay's chakra sessions, and she is continuing her discussion about um, yeah about I have to get my notes up, the 12 chakra system, and and so she's talking about a multi-dimensional aura. That's going to be a good one. And she says that our auric field stretches to accommodate change, what we're talking about, right? And so come and learn about this expansion and how it can affect your physical and emotional health. That's chakra sessions at noon on Tuesday. And Tuesday evening is my weekly show, Communications from Home, at 8 p.m. Eastern. And my guest this week is Maureen Mann. And Maureen is one of our newest live stream show hosts and contributing writers to the magazine, Star Nations Magazine, with her new show, which is called Angel Therapy. And so if you don't know Maureen, Tuesday night is a good night to be able to meet her. And we'll be talking about her connection to the angels and also her knowledge about mindfulness. And so come and join us. Come and meet Maureen. And then let's see, Wednesday afternoon is Nature Adventures with my co-host, Minnie Kansman. And Minnie and I are talking about the element of earth in this time of year, which is, on the medicine wheel, it's all about hibernation, right? And going within. And so join Minnie and I for that sharing of information on Wednesday afternoon, and that's at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And then on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern is Soul Connections with Polly Jola Bay. And that particular show is all about healing and also divine messages. She does a card draw for you individually, a card, and it's like a mini reading. So the first half of the show is about a healing meditation, and the second half is the card draw. Okay, 7 p.m. Eastern. And Thursday, Polly Joe's going to have a busy week. She's back on Thursday night at Star Nations Academy Facebook closed group. And she is going to be offering information about empaths in our chakra system. Now, this is just very, very basic information for those of us who are empaths, and maybe you just realized you're one or got information that you're this empath and you don't know what to do with it. You don't realize it's a gift yet. And so it's very basic information. And that's at 8 p.m. Eastern Time at the closed group on Facebook, Star Nations Academy. So you can join us for any one of those, and be good to see you in the chat, right? Okay, I think we got it. Thank you for being with me this afternoon on a Sunday afternoon. We'll be back tomorrow, Monday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern with a daily live stream. And whatever cards came that morning, we'll have a spiritual conversation about it. Okay? All right. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bamamina. That's Potawatomi. That means until we see each other again. Love you guys.